Good morning, dear student. I am Santosh, botany lecturers. Today I am going to introduce you a fascinating world of botany. In that we are going to deal. Our topic name is morphology of flowering plant. The topic name is morphology of flowering plant. Of flowering plants. Okay, you can say this flowering plant. Another name is angiosperm. Angiosperm. Okay, so according to the classification, when we see the 5 kingdom classification, the plants are considered at a kingdom plant. Kingdom plant. Okay. So in that, these plants have classified into algae, bryophyte, and pteridophyte, and gymnosperm. And angiosperm. When we see the sequential arrangements from algae to the angiosperm, it is an evolutionary development where angiosperms are considered as a higher plants as compared to the other categories of plants. Okay, so these angiosperms, again you can call this one as a flowering plants. Flowering plants. These angiosperms are called as a flowering plants. Okay, so which used to produce flower, those are considered as a flowering plants. In this topic, we are going to deal with the morphology of flowering plant. Morphology of flowering plants. Okay. Morphology of flowering plants. Here we are going to deal with the morphology. Okay. What do you mean by morphology? Morphology. Simply, if you want to say morphology means just it is an external appearance. Okay. External appearance. Okay. This external appearance we are going to deal with the scientific manner. This external appearance we are going to deal with the scientific manner. That one is called as a morphology of flowering plants. Scientific. Okay. The external appearance of a the external appearance of the flowering plants. The external appearance of the flowering plants is done with the help of a science in a scientific manner. That is called as a morphology of flowering plant in a scientific manner. Okay. So in the next slide we used to see how actually this morphology of flowering plant chapter is going to be deep. Okay. When we see the seed, okay. When we see the seed, actually seeds are comes in a gymnosperm as well as angiosperm. Okay. When we took one example as a one seed that is from a angiosperm. If this is one seed, this is one seed. Okay. This is a dicotyledon seed. When we open this seed's cotyledon, when we open this seed's cotyledon, we used to get two cotyledons. Okay, at the groove means center of this two cotyledon there is one axis. That axis is called as a embryonal axis. This axis is called as a embryonal axis. Okay, that is called as a embryonal axis. This embryonal axis have two parts. One is the upper portion of this embryonal axis. That one is called as a plumule. The lower portion of this embryonal axis, this one is called as a radicle. This is a lower portion. Okay, this is lower portion. From this embryonal axis, or you can say embryo, which have two parts. The ascending part is plumule, the descending part is radicle. From these only we used to get a shoot and root structure of angiospermic plant. How? We'll see. Okay, this radicle, when we sow this seed in a soil, this is considered as a soil surface. When we sow this seed in a soil, this radicle, the radicle of a seed, it is going to be germinate in the form of a root. The plumule, okay, the plumule is going to be germinate in the form of shoot. Here, somewhere here only plumule structure is there. It is going to be germinate in the form of shoot. Okay, this is a shoot system. This is a root system. This root system is arise from a radicle. This shoot system is arise from a plumule. Okay, this root system further have a primary roots, secondary root and tertiary root structures. Okay, this whole is considered as a root system. Okay, the whole is considered as a root system. Okay, and this is a shoot system which bear leaf, okay, branch, okay, these are branch. Okay, and the shoot system only bear flowers. Okay, shoot system only bear flowers, as well as fruit also bear this shoot system only. Fruit also bear with this shoot system only. Okay, the fruit also bear shoot system. This root system, which consists of primary root, from that primary root secondary roots are arise, from that secondary root tertiary roots are arise. This whole system is called as a root system. There is upper portion, which is aerial portion, that is called as a shoot system. Which have leaf, stem, branch, flower, fruit. Okay, this is the main morphological character of angiosperm. Okay, so out of these things, first we are going to deal with the root. In a scientific manner, we are going to deal the root system of a angiospermic plant. Okay, we'll see. Okay, the root system. Okay, the root system. The root system. Okay, this is a root. Okay, of course root is underground part. Okay, of course root is underground part. Okay, we'll see diagram. When we took a root only the example, this is the soil surface. Okay, this is a positively geotropic. this is a positively geotropic structure. The main root system, when we see the taproot system, okay, this is a root. This is a okay. This is root system. Okay. So this root system have a different types. Okay. A root have a different type. Okay. How many types are there in root? There is a main 3 types are there. Okay. One is taproot system. One is taproot system. Okay. Another one is adventitious root system. Okay. Another one is fibrous root system. Sorry. How to take here this adventitious root after the fibrous root. Okay. First we have to write fibrous root. Okay. First we have to write fibrous root. Okay. Third one is adventitious root. Okay. So here the taproot system and fibrous root system both are arise from radicle. Both are arise from radicle. Okay. Here adventitious root system. Here the adventitious root system arise from except radical, any part of the plant, any part of the plant, that one is called as a adventitious root. Okay, or adventitious root system. So first we are going to deal with the taproot system. First we used to see in a scientific manner the morphology of taproot system. We'll see that in a next. Okay, so this is a taproot system. Okay, this taproot system is we usually see in a dicotyledonous. Okay, dicotyledonous plants. Okay, dicotyledonous plant and we used to see taproot system. Okay, the main characteristic of taproot system is, of course, it is arise from a primitive. It is arise from a radical. Okay, the taproot system, of course, it is arise from radical. Okay, taproot system is arise from radical. Okay, next, the taproot system have a primary root and from that primary root secondary roots will arise and tertiary roots will arise. Roots are arise. Okay, we'll see diagram. Okay, so when seed is get germinate in a soil, when seed start to get germinate in a soil, first one single radical is going to be elongated to form one main root system, that is taproot system. In that the main root is that is called as a primary root. This one is called as a primary root. From this primary root, secondary roots will arise. From this primary root, secondary roots will arise. Okay. From this primary root, secondary roots are going to be arise. From this secondary roots, tertiary roots are going to be arise. From this secondary root, tertiary roots are going to be arise. Okay. This is called as a, okay, so the main root of this root system, the main portion and a somewhat larger portion of this root, it is called as a primary root. It is called as a primary. Okay. From this primary root, secondary roots are arise. Okay. This is called as a secondary root. Okay. This is called as a secondary root. From that secondary root, tertiary roots are going to be arise. From this is called as a tertiary root. Okay. Tertiary roots are going to be arise. The secondary and tertiary roots togetherly called as a lateral root. Okay. Secondary and tertiary roots are togetherly called as a lateral root. Okay. This type of root system is called as a tap root system. Okay. This is usually found in a dicotyledon. For example, in your NCERT they have mentioned with picture, that is a mustard. That is a mustard. That is mustard. Okay. So next we will see the another type of root system, that is called as a fibrous root system. That is called as a fibrous root system. That is nothing but fibrous root system. Root system. Okay. This fibrous root system also arise from radical. This fibrous root system also arise from radical only. Okay, but it is somewhat different from taproot system. How actually this is different from taproot system means, here the primary root will come for a short period of time after germination. After germination of seed, after germination of seed, okay, the primary root, okay, come for short period of time, okay. After some time, the primary root itself convert into thread-like structure. The primary root is converted into uniform or homogeneous thread-like structure. Okay, those bunch of thread-like structure, is called as a fibrous. That is called as a fibrous. Okay, once we take a recap for this one, this is a fibrous root system where this is also arise from radical root. Okay, after germination of seed, the primary root come for a short period of time. After some time, the primary root itself going to be converted. Okay, it is going to be converted homogeneous thread-like structure The bunch of thread-like structure is called as a fibrous. Okay, we'll see diagram. Okay, we'll see that one diagram. Okay, after germination of seed, this one is called as a soil surface. Okay, this one is called as soil surface. In this soil, when seed got germinated, it start to produce first primary root. Okay, this primary root itself convert into a homogeneous, uniform, thread-like structure. Homogeneous, uniform, thread-like structure. They used to similar like a fiber. They used to arrange it in a bunch like a fiber, and those all are arise from just bottom of a stem. Just bottom of a stem. Those all are arise from bottom of stem. Okay, which is actually shoot system. Okay, these the bunch of fibrous roots are called as a fibrous. These are called as a fibrous. Okay, this is a fibrous root system. Actually, this is also arise from a radicle. Okay, I think you got this one. Okay, next we will see another type of root system. Okay, example for this one is all monocotyledons. Okay, all monocotyledons. Okay, in your insight they have mentioned wheat. Okay, wheat as an example. Randomly we can take any grass plant. When we pick out that one, we used to see a bunch of fruit which are uniform in size and shape. The bunch of fiber-like structures, those are directly arise from a bottom of stem, that is called as a fibrous root system. Okay, I think you got this one. We'll see next type of root system in a next slide. Okay, next there is another type of root system. This is actually different from those root system which are nothing but a taproot and fibrous. How actually this is different from a taproot system and fibrous root system means we'll see. Okay, that different root system name is adventitious root system. Adventitious root system. That is called as an adventitious root system. Okay, the adventitious root system, actually this is arise from any part of the plant, except radicle. Okay, actually this adventitious root system arises from any part of the plant except radicle. Actually it is not arise from a radicle, but those two root systems, taproot system and fibrous root systems, are actually arise from a radicle. It is arise from except radicle from any part of the plant, that is called as a adventitious root system. The best example for this adventitious root system is banyan tree. The best example. Okay, you can write like this. Okay, best example, that is banyan. Okay, that is called as a banyan tree. All you have idea about this one. Banyan tree is nothing but in Kannada they used to say alada mara in Hindi, that is nothing but a burger. Okay, burger plant. Okay, so when we see the banyan tree, okay, we'll see diagrammatically banyan tree. The banyan tree usually have, okay, this is a banyan. Okay, so the banyan tree is main trunk. This is a main trunk. Okay, these are a branch. These are branches. Okay. On these branches, of course, if stem is there, all you have idea about the nodes are there. Okay, nodal rhythm, node rhythm. From this node only, the probes will arise. In banyan, they used to call it as a probes. Okay, trunk-like structure. Actually, those are roots. Okay, these structures are called as a. Especially in banyan tree, we used to say this one as a probe root. These are called as a probe root. This probe root is best example as a adventitious. Okay, adventitious. Okay, adventitious. Okay, so till now we have discussed. In your NCERT they have mentioned another example for this one is monstera. Okay, another example that is monstera. Okay, this is also example for a fibrous root system. Okay, so till now we have discussed about root and root system, where we have discussed taproot system, fibrous root system, adventitious root system, where taproot system, fibrous root system, both are arise from a radical only, which is a part of a embryonal axis which is present inside the seed. Okay, next we used to see by your NCERT, that is nothing but the reason of root. Okay, that is nothing but different part of a root or distribution of root. What you want to feel comfort, you can say that. Okay, so first we'll draw one typical diagram for a root system to understand different reason on a root. Okay, we'll draw it. Okay, okay, this is a main root. Okay, this is a main root. We used to commonly say this one as a primary. Okay, so when we see the tip of root, there is one cap-like structure. There is one cap-like structure. This is called as a root cap. Okay, there is one cap-like structure. This is called as a root cap. Root cap is thimble in structure. Okay, which used to give protection to the tender apex of root. Here tender means soft. How to remember? This is tender means soft. Actually, this root cap gives protection from any hard material which is present inside the soil. From that hard material, it will give protection to the root. That is called as a root cap. That is thimble in structure. Nothing but somewhat hard and it is give protection. Okay. Due to that, the tender root can able to make a safe passage. Okay. The tender root will get a safe passage. Due to this root cap, the tender means soft. It is going to be have a safe passage inside the soil. That is why the root cap is very important in the root system. Okay, just above the root cap, nothing but just proximal to the root cap. In your NCERT they have mentioned just proximal to the root cap. Just proximal to root cap. That region is called as a meristematic zone. This region is called as a meristematic zone. This is just proximal to the root cap. This is just proximal to the root cap. This one is called as a meristematic zone. This is called as a meristematic zone. Okay, in this meristematic zone, all you have idea about that one. Meristematic means continuously dividing cells are there. Continuously dividing cells, or you can say dividing cell continuously. Okay, so here the group of cells are there, they used to divide continuously. Okay, that's why this is called as a meristematic zone. That's why it is called as a meristematic zone. Okay, after next proximal side of this meristematic zone. Okay, there is a elongation zone. Just proximal of this, meristematic zone. After proximal of this meristematic zone, that one is called as a elongation zone. This is called as a elongation zone. This is called as a elongation zone. Okay, in this elongation zone, the cell which arise from meristematic zone, they are going to be deposited. They are going to be deposited. Okay, the cells which are getting more in the region of meristematic zone, they are going to be deposited at a proximal region of a meristematic zone. At that deposition at a elongation zone, they used to get a elongate and elongate. Okay, that's why this is called as a elongation. That is why this one is called as a elongation zone, where actually cells will get enlarged and elongate. Due to this, the root length will become increase. Root length will become increase. Okay, after these elongation zone cell which got enlarged and elongate, they used to start deposit at a maturation zone. Okay, they used to start deposit at a maturation zone. In this maturation zone, the cells in maturation zone, the cells they get a differentiation. The cells they used to get a differentiation. Here, what do you mean by differentiation? Means on the basis of their function, they used to differentiate. Nothing but from meristematic to elongation zone, all cells looks similar and they used to perform the same function. When they used to enter in a meristematic zone, they start to get a different function and different structure. Okay, some they used to become xylem, some they used to become phloem, some they used to become cambium, some they used to become epidermis. Like that, they used to get a different function on the basis of their origin and shape. Okay, the outermost wall of this maturation zone cell, those are considered as epidermal cells. These are considered as epidermal cell. Okay, the outer layers, these are epidermal cells. Okay, these are considered as epidermal cells. Okay, in a maturation zone, the epidermal cells, not all cells, randomly some cells become elongate themselves. They used to form a elongate structure. Randomly, not all cell, randomly they used to form elongate structure. Those are called as a root hairs. Those are called as a root hairs. Those are called as a root hairs. These root hairs are helpful in absorption of minerals and water from soil. Okay, this is about the maturation. So totally we got to know that the root have three main reasons. Those are nothing but meristematic zone, elongation zone, maturation zone. Okay, the tender apex of a maturation meristematic zone is covered by a thimble-like structure. That one is called as a root cap, which is going to be protect that tender apex and it will make allow to go inside the soil, that tender root, which will make a passage to enter inside the soil. This is whole about today we have studied about the root system. I hope you got understand this one. If you got understand, please do like, share, subscribe of my this channel. Thank you. Thank you.